Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends! Johnny 5 Alive here, and welcome back to another episode of Coaster Spotlight Bundle Edition. Today's theme, we are looking at 5 impeccable mythology-themed roller coasters. We have not seen enough mythology, in my opinion. It's a tricky theme to get right, and there are a few creations in here that are doing an absolutely incredible job at making this mythology pack shine. So I'm looking forward to picking these apart, looking at them closer. So without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's episode. Welcome, my Planet Coaster friends, to another episode of Coaster Spotlight. Look at this. Mythology at its finest. The first creation of the day is going to Tauros, created by RunningPsycho, an unranked and now builder in this community, and I do not recognize the name, so I think this is their first ever feature. And here they say, Tauros is a roller coaster that's fully themed with mythology pieces. The story is very loose for the ride, but it takes place on the estate of a wealthy Greek citizen who worships the bulls as their god. You will ride through their estate with twists, turns, and loops. This will be my first submission for Planet Coaster 2, and I think it came out pretty good for not playing Planet Coaster 1. Oh, very new player to the series. For the past year or two. Oh, for the past year or two. I should have kept reading. I didn't focus so much on the story of the ride because I wanted to have fun and just build using the pieces that are in the mythology theme. That's understandable. You don't need a story, just have fun. Make sure to set the ride to minimal intervals, 22 seconds. I'm not sure if we've done that. We will try to do that here. For some reason, this would reset every time I open the park. Yeah, that's a bug with the game. There is some nighttime lighting, but it's definitely room for improvement on that. Let me know your thoughts on how I can improve in the future. I want to eventually build a whole mythological park. I submitted a few things back in the day for Planet Coaster 1. I am unsure of my current rank and honestly couldn't figure out how to see on Discord. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Okay, long introduction, but yeah, if you do join Discord, your rank will be reflected on what rank you get from the videos and the contests and stuff. So they're unranked and now they're builder. I'll go into Discord and change that, and now you will see a builder logo next to your name as well as a color change, and you'll probably be green. So you'll notice the ranks based off of their aesthetic. All right, that intro is so long, we've probably already ridden the coaster. And ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Let's talk about it. Nighttime lighting definitely lacked to me. You said you added some and wanted to check it out, but it almost felt non-existent to me. It's a talking point. I feel like we repeat this a lot. It's a struggle in Planet Coaster 2 right now, mainly because they didn't give us the giant area light, which definitely helped illuminate areas in Planka 1. It just doesn't exist in the game. However, daytime aesthetically, this is a masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. Love the coaster layout and the artistry gone into this, like the hedge work here I almost wish the queue went through here, honestly. That's pretty cool. It's very prestigious. I feel all the way you use the color, the white limestone rocks, the vineyards in here, everything about it feels classy. It feels very nice. This big giant tower here that the lift went up, the build itself, the boarding station, looks incredible. For a first ever build, I think you nailed it. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. I wouldn't really have any feedback other than, you know, take a stab at it at night and see what you can do with your nighttime lighting and ways to improve that. I don't have a lot of feedback and suggestions or tutorials on how to improve nighttime lighting, as I think it's a bit of a struggle for everybody in this game. Experimenting and playing around with it will help, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think the experience for most of these are going to be best viewed at daytime unless you're doing a dark ride, and I think you did a great job at that. I also really like this little bit of peach that you use on the coaster track. The peach with the gray, it matches that of the top of your build. It gives it a little bit of a color pop. Yeah, between the neutral colors of the white, you've added a wash of color over the whole thing, and it really stands out. Like, it is super vibrant and gorgeous. Oh, and the beautiful sign here. Really well done sign. It's simple, but it's really clean. I like it. Super inviting. Great way to kick off the episode, and I'll be changing your rank to Builder on Discord, and good to see you in the community, and I can't wait to see what you do next, RunningPsycho. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is Poseidon, created by Bjornophobia, who many of you who are fans of the show that watch the Coaster Spotlights should probably be familiar with this name by now, as I feel like they've been featured several times, and also from the contest. I believe it says here that they're advanced, but I'm gonna say they're at least expert or master now. Welcome to Poseidon. This temple complex was found a couple years ago, who were surprised at how many intact temples survived apart from one which they found in the ruins. Within those ruins was a trident, which, when they touched it, zoomed off and flew around the temple. Now it is your turn to touch the trident if you brave. Oh, so where the trident is the coast? Oh, that's fun. There's a flat ride, the Odyssey, and then they say here, this creation was made as a fun project which took over 14 hours and includes a roller coaster, flat ride, toilets, changing room facilities. I also noticed one of your sentiments on a previous video, a roller coaster interacting with a flat ride, and that's what I attempted here. This is my second attempt at going with the mythology theme, so it's pretty fun to learn how to use all the new pieces. And then they have some setup instructions here, and then they say many thanks for checking out another one of my creations. So just to echo what I said earlier, we're getting very familiar with seeing Bjornophobia during Coaster Spotlight episodes, and I love it. All right, let's check it out. Good googly moogly. What a fun idea to make us the trident. And when you're in the track view, I don't know if that was intentional, but we're just riding the tip of the trident. In fact, I would have maybe even pulled that out a bit more. I don't know. There's something cool about that perspective. Absolutely. Really like that. The funny thing is, the actual model that's being used here is that, like, rocket ship. It feels a little sci-fi-y or whatever. It's a bit strange of a choice there, but I'm here for it. I like it. It definitely took off like a rocket. There's a look at the blueprint from an orbit view. Extremely smooth coaster layout. I liked everything about it. I felt like it at the very end could use a tad bit more smoothing, but as you can see, it's a very nice, smooth coaster layout. Beautifully controlled rolls on this. Right here. Something that looks a little jank there. Just a tad bit of smoothing, that's all. But I think it's a great layout, though. The artistry gone into this is phenomenal. It's a giant footprint, but you've made it feel very immersive, right? Nighttime lighting is actually quite nice where the builds are. I really like this area back here. Coaster itself doesn't really have any nighttime lighting, but the presentation looks great. Yeah, artistically speaking, I like this, this coaster sign here, Poseidon. We see them there with the trident. We see the letters up front. We have beautiful gardens. We have an extra flat ride over to the side. You said there was going to be some interaction between the coaster and flat ride. It doesn't really feel like there's interaction. It just goes around it, which is fine. fine. I don't know how you would do that with a swinging ship, but it's there for the aesthetic. It does elevate the creation just a little bit. Q is fantastic. Rockwork's impeccable. It's great. Nice vibrant blue on there as well. Now, I will say through the mythology, it's feeling very cliche. We're all, I don't know, this must be like the 18th Poseidon coaster that we've ridden. Nobody's really showing us the wrath of Poseidon so far. It's just a good coaster layout with mythology theming called Poseidon. I'd really love to see people incorporate more waves and water and tsunamis and just crazy events where we see the wrath of Poseidon come alive. So as a result, mythology hasn't really quite elevated or reached its peak yet. And I think it'll be, just a matter of time before we get there. And I think Bjornophobia, I know this is one of their earlier creations. They've been climbing the ranks and doing very good job at the artistry as well as the coaster designs. Now I say the next goal for you should be to punch up that wow factor. Get some animatronics, some sequencers, some, different things like that, and create an experience, right? That tells a story along the way, and leave us with that wow factor and show us what we can do with the different gods. There's so many Greek gods in this universe, right? There's a lot of fun things to play around with there in terms of telling a story and creating action events and moments on a ride. So that's what I'm looking forward to, but I think that's the ride and the design of it, it's all 5 out of 5. Really great stuff there, Bjornophobia. And our next creator of the day is going to be, I'm gonna butcher this, Flucht von Akropolis by Kevin Gaga. I do think I recognize this name. Here they say, heyo everyone, Kevin Gaga here. This is my mythological launch coaster named Flucht von Akropolis, Escape from Acropolis in English. I'm fairly new to building and decorating coasters, usually in only build the coaster and then that's it. So I'm more than open to suggestions and criticisms, and sue me, but I didn't do any nighttime lighting at all, and I'm still learning the game nighttime lighting techniques. I hope you all have a wonderful day/night, and auf Wiedersehen. All right, very cool. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. And as they mentioned, no nighttime lighting, which I'm totally fine with. You guys, it is not a requirement to do nighttime lighting at all. In fact, it's been such a struggle for most people that I wouldn't even expect it until you're at the master ranks. Coaster layout, there's a lot going on here, a lot of jank as well. It could definitely use some refinement and smoothing in areas. I think there's a lot of track, right? And the pacing is, I guess the only way I could define it is a bit herky-jerky, right? It's not one smooth, consistent experience. It's left and right, up and down, bumpy, and definitely could use a little bit more smoothing and refinement, and going from one element to the next, that transitioning could be a little bit smoother, and the pacing of it is very slow and all over the place. So for me, the coaster layout it's a lot. There's a lot of coaster here. Don't know how to quite articulate it other than what I just mentioned. But yeah, once you have so much track like this, it's going to become a lot more challenging to do the theming. As you said, you generally just build the coasters and that's it. And with all of this track here, it's hard to fit all that theming in between. So if we look at, I think Bjorn is a good example of this. If we put this into test mode and bring it out, it's actually quite a simple design, but it keeps to that fast pace and it transitions from element to element quite gracefully. And there's not a whole lot of track and elements in between. Therefore, it creates for much easier ability to theme it with all of that open space. With all this, you're dealing with tons of track, coaster supports, it's all over the place. It's a spaghetti ball. And how do you build upon that, right? So I think you just need to space out your track a little bit more and you'll find ways to fit things in between and just create more of a natural landscape. But you've made a good attempt at the boarding station, the queue. That's all pretty good there. So yeah, not a bad effort at all by Kevin Gaga. Welcome to the community, and you are now a builder. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our fourth creation of the day is Nogard by Ardi.gs. Recognize the name, a builder. And what do they have to say here? Zeus is sleeping and Nogard dragging backwards. What? Oh. I guess it is. Zeus's personal dragon wants to fly in the valleys near Olympus, but since he's sleeping, you will be the ones to accompany him to do this typical flight after lunch. I'm so confused. Nogard is a junior dragon coaster with just over 500 meters of track. I could not attach the objects to the trains because unfortunately this roller coaster is one of the ones where the objects do not attach. Oh, this must be, I think they do now since the recent updates, if I'm not mistaken. The coaster has nighttime lighting, especially in the caves. Johnny, you can try cinematic camera, but sometimes it goes inside the rocks. Yeah, we're not going to do cinematics for a rock build like this. I recommend it either in front view or front bumper. I'm curious to know what you think and where I can improve. Have a good day, everyone. All right. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Actually, I want to leave it at night for a second. I actually like this heavy commitment to this pink light. The way it's just a full commitment. Heavy, I think that's how you do it. You just got to commit to saturation, lots of it. And then the contrast between the light and then the moonlight created for kind of a nice atmosphere. You got the blue with the pink, and it has this almost like cyberpunky neatness to it. I don't know. It's unique, that's for certain. I'm not mad at it. It's very cool. Now, the actual environment is just a bunch of rocks, right? And I think you could still accomplish this having it at the top of a mountain and still having this inviting garden, you know, like some of this, if you look at what's done over here, add some of that to yours, right? You have a little bit in the front half, but not in the back half. But the way that this has been decorated, I think is a good example of what I would do to elevate your creation, but then also having some of this mythology queue work and buildings just to make it a little bit more inviting on the way in. Because at first I was like, wait, is this actually a mythology coaster? I was a little bit confused. It's really, I mean, none of the mythology pieces were used other than these braziers or whatever they're called, and that's it, right? So there's not a whole lot of theming, but I think you could still create a mythological atmosphere by having this feel like some sort of Mount Olympus, and I think adding in some water and some bridges and a couple of these temples and stuff would really take it a long way. But you know, for the junior coaster, the actual layout is pretty simple. It's pretty standard. It's not too bad. I think it's actually a pretty decent coaster with all that. So I would just focus on elevating your theming in the next one. But yeah, not too bad. Good start there from Ardi.gs. And ladies and gentlemen, last but not least is going to Heavenly Flight, created by Vernyn. Pronounced Vernon. I actually nailed it for once. Heyo everyone, this is my first ever fully completed and actually rideable coaster in Planko 1 and 2. I will attempt to keep this short and sweet, and then they continue to write 6 paragraphs. All right. Short and sweet. Heavenly Flight is an Automax launch coaster that takes you through the clouds of heaven and soars around multiple buildings through the doors and heaven and lets you take it all in and has to offer. Okay, that's a bunch of word spaghetti. Heavenly Flight is calm, short, and somewhat slow around the hills, but it is designed to weigh that with a total of 3 inversions. As mentioned, this is my first ever proper coaster, as I never was able to make a good rideable coaster until what I think is now. I do think the scenery is lacking in some areas, but I am out of ideas and time with school and Christmas break coming up. All right, so this was created around December just after the game came out. I wanted to get some feedback so I can go in for the next one. Well, I hope you went in for the next one before waiting for that feedback. It's a long wait for some people. There's a lot of submissions, guys, and we got to switch up the theme. And if, yeah, we have to switch it up from video to video. So if you're one of the 100 mythology creations, it could be a wait. I hope you enjoy Vernyn. All right. Wow, freaking I actually really like that. Okay, wow, let's talk about it. So, I think this is actually a great example of what I was trying to articulate over here. The coaster layout itself is not too complicated. It's quite nice. There's a lot of elements there, inversions, rolls, and all that, but it's spread out in a way where you still give yourself room for some theming. And I would say this isn't the most over-the-top thematic coaster experience that I've ever seen. Certainly not, but it has a little bit there. It's still there, and you're adding little bits to that, and you know, you gave yourself enough breathing room to add at least a little bit in. But then the actual design of the coaster is elevated from that. Actually coming in through the building with that roll right through the roof and back out is actually like a really cool element. And you took your coaster elements and added the theming to that, and we have these like head chopper moments. You go over top of it. It's designed in really well. So using the aesthetics, the art theming is actually a nice integration to make the coaster layout a more dynamic experience. Even just having the little doors openings, like a nice little touch there. You have a little bit of a theming here for the launch section as well. And these are the types of little theming elements that I think would go a long way in having this. But first, it's about getting that layout nice and smooth start to finish. It was a consistent ride experience start to finish, and I really quite liked the coaster layout on that. And then again, those moments, those elements that you've added in on the theming really made those moments of the coaster elements that much more memorable. I will say, as we started to go through here, walking through the queue, I was like, wow, this might end up being my favorite queue of the day. And then it just disappeared. Whatever you were doing there with the detail and just the attention to detail there, just keep pushing it, and push it all the way until the experience starts. I could see elements of, you know, a really high quality advanced builder in here, and then you just stop, right? Even just these rocks, they're kind of barren and plain. They're nicely constructed. They're well clumped. It just needs a little touch of that nature work, like we see over here. Bjorn really nailing in those attention to details. I think out of all of these creations, I really don't need to say a lot of feedback, rather than, you know, look at what these other creators did that are elevating their theming and, you know, copy with taste. see how they've done certain scenes and settings and used the natural trees and bushes to elevate their mythological creations, and see how you can incorporate that into yours in the future. And suddenly, if we take some of these ponds and these areas and these trees and add it to here in these missing spots, suddenly this might look like one of the best creations of the day. Because in my opinion, that was one of the better coaster layouts because of the way it maneuvered the environment. I really quite liked it. So it just, needs a little bit more of that theming, in my opinion. But very solid creation here by Vernyn. Welcome to the community. I don't recognize the name, and you're now getting your features. So hopefully I see your name pop up in the bin again. And I look forward to seeing these creators all pop up again. But yeah, again, to that point of some people submitted this stuff in December. Since December, we've featured plenty of mythology creations, from parks to coasters and then to flumes as well. We do a contest. We take a break from the videos for a couple months. That slows things down. So you might submit something and you want to see what I think, or you want to, see what the viewers think and stuff like that. Just keep on keeping on. I think Bjornophobia, as I mentioned, they're a recurring name. They're a recurring feature on the channel. Sorry, this was their creation over here, number 2. They're a reoccurring name, and someone that we see a lot, because they just build something, submit it, build something, submit it, build something, submit it. And it just so happens when I'm, organizing, okay, it's time to do a mythology creation. We haven't done that for a while. His name comes up. It's time to do a Viking creation. We haven't done that in a while. Boom, his name comes up, right? And if you're only just submitting one thing, mythology, and then waiting, it might be a bit of a wait, because I'm not going to do mythology creations 7 days a week. And I probably have enough to do 7 a week. So, it's a bit of a balancing act to get everybody featured, but that's why we do bundles. Trying to feature 5 an episode to get everybody a chance to be featured, but just keep on keeping on. Create stuff, send it in, and then go create another thing, and hopefully you'll eventually get your spotlight, and then we'll stumble across another creation from you in the near future. All right, there it is. That was the Mythology, 5 really good creations. I think my favorite of the day is going to go over to Tauros by RunningPsycho. I haven't seen your name come up in anything else, so perfect example of what I just explained there is submitting and then waiting. Submit and then keep building. So hopefully RunningPsycho has done some more stuff since then, and if you have, I encourage you to submit it, and I want to see what they can do, because that is definitely my favorite creation of the day. And Bjornophobia still doing really high quality stuff consistently. So keep it up, buddy, and some great efforts from the newer builders over here as well. Great stuff, everybody. What did you guys think of today's creations? Fire away down in the comments below, and that is going to do it for today's episode of Coaster Spotlight. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye now.